Good morning and welcome to another episode of Garden to Table with Rose. It is May 1st, 2024. I am in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Zone 6A, and it is a beautiful, warm morning. It's actually supposed to be 75 today, which is amazingly warm for us. It probably was snowing 2 weeks ago. But yeah, so I'm out here early because it's May 1st. I want to get my first garden tour done because I said I would start them May 1st, even though my garden is not ready. It's never ready, but you know what I mean. I haven't gotten my cleanup done completely, and I haven't gotten everything planted for the spring. But I'm going to start here on the deck, and let me do a slow, hopefully I can do it slow, pan of the yards. This is my backyard, of course, and in the backyard my garden is around the entire perimeter of the fence line, and that is because I have 3 dogs and I obviously need a grassy patch for them. So let's see, on the deck, I think I put some seeds, like some little geraniums and impatiens in these pots. 1 or 2 of them may not even have anything in it yet. These were starts. I can't remember if those are pansies or petunias or what, but I grew them from seed, whatever they are. So I just like having flowers in those because, you know, I like to sit out here and relax when I have a moment, and I just like, you know, having flowers as a backdrop. I've decided to grow as much as as many of my edibles in these green stalks as possible because I'm running out of in-ground space. So all of my leafy greens, a lot of herbs, anything that doesn't need a deep, you know, root system, because these are like 12 inches tall, most of these little pockets. So all the lettuces, I think I got radishes in here. Yeah, that's what's going on. They're all planted up except for this one. I have nothing in it yet. I did buy a packet of strawberry starts, or 2 packs, from just the grocery store. They were very inexpensive, and they're in that green stalk at the end. I'm gonna try growing them in there again. I tried when I first got a green stalk several years ago, and in the winter all the crowns died. I had a frost cover on it that they make for the green stalk. That did not work. So this year I'm going to try wrapping the whole thing in burlap and then putting the frost cover on it and see if that works, because it would be ideal to grow strawberries in these things because, one, it will keep the berry off the ground, which would definitely help you with slugs and those types of things that like to eat holes in your strawberries. I have a big slug problem in my garden. Yeah, so I try to keep them elevated. The ones that I do have, they're in grow bags, and I usually sit those on cinder blocks or something to just get them off the ground, and that does help. But I can never have too many strawberries. I usually plant everbearings. I have all my rosemary plants out here hardening off. These are plants, these big ones, I dug up out of the ground last year because they can't survive here over the winter in the ground. And I wanted big rosemary plants to use in my landscape, so that's why I dug them up, because otherwise I'm starting over with you know, little ones. So these are ones that either I grew from seed or I rooted. I just, like, you know, cut off a piece of one of these and rooted it. What I tend to do is I dig them up one year and then I start small ones at the same time, and then I'll use those the second year. I'll put those maybe in the ground, maybe in the pot. It depends on how big it gets. And then these will replace those, because I'll leave these in the ground this season. I'm not, because they're huge and they're heavy. I'm lugging those things all the way to the basement in my grow tent. So yeah, so I try to keep it going for 2 or 3 years each rosemary so that I can get pretty large. And this is still a work in progress here. I'm planting up pots. This one I think has eggplants in it. I still have not put together my hose reels. Oh my goodness. Over here I still have not finish this trellis, which is on my list for this week. I need to put those crossbars up, and like I said, there's like 50 or 100 of them. There's so many. So I need to do that. Unfortunately, most of the corms I planted in here seems to have died. I planted all ranunculus and anemones in these raised beds, and I covered it. I thought, oh, because, you know, they're very sensitive. And so I thought they'd be protected and would do okay, but most of them died. So I got nothing. I got a few, like around the, as you can see, around the edges. So I have started adding some other things in here. These I am reserving for my Lysianthus, which should be coming in the mail soon, because Lysianthus can be fickle too. But I put some kohlrabis in here, I think, and there's a few onions over in that one. But I'm kind of disappointed. I have had the hardest time trying to grow ranunculus and anemones from corms. They don't survive in the ground over winter here, so you know, most people buy new corms every year, and then you pre-sprout them inside and then plant them out, and they like cool weather, so you have to try to get them out as soon as possible and protect them, because once it gets hot, they're not gonna work for you. So I think I'm gonna give up on these, because this is the second or third time, I think it's the third time at least, that I've tried to grow these things. Now oddly, I planted some in the ground in the front one year just because I was like, well, you know, if they come up, they come up. If they don't, they don't. And a few of those keep returning every year when I thought they weren't supposed to survive here. So I don't know. Once the season is over and I clean this bed up, if I find corms that look viable, I might just plop them in the ground and see what happens. Okay, pots, like I said, I'm trying to get a lot of food stuff in pots or green stalks because I only have so much room. All my onions and potatoes I've already got going in pots, and they're doing well. What is this over here? I think this might be marigolds that I put around here. I just had a bunch of them I need to put somewhere, and those seem to, I wasn't sure if those had some kind of virus because they had spots on the leaves. I grew these from seed and I wanted to keep them away from my other stuff. So that's why I put them in that pot. Potatoes are in these that show nothing. They haven't started growing yet. This is sapinary, I believe, and I have a lot of it. It's a cut flower filler. These came from last year. I can't, it's some kind of salvia, I think, but I'm waiting until they get big enough, and then I'm gonna dig them out and plant them in the ground somewhere. More onions. I got a lot of onions. I plant a lot of onions and garlic every year because it stores really well. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And more potatoes. These have actually started to sprout. These are just some little shrubs that I needed to put somewhere. These incredible hydrangeas are growing and filling out. Those are going to be beautiful when they get big. As you can see, my berries have started to leaf out. These are blackberries here. There's 3 different kinds. And then over here I have, I think, a boysenberry, a loganberry, and a marionberry. All of my blackberries now are thornless because I got tired of battling those thorns. These, one of these has thorns, and that's because I could only find a variety with thorns on that particular varietal. These are more potatoes. I found potatoes that I had put in my garage fridge from last year to use as seed potatoes. So I just planted them in these grow bags, and we'll see if they grow. I'm not sure. The other potatoes are ones that I ordered. So let me go down this way. I think I'm going to divide this and make 2 separate videos. One's going to be the front, one's going to be the back, because this is going to take a long time. All right, my little doghouse setup that I think is the cutest thing, but my dogs don't seem to, because they won't even go in it. I put treats in there to try to lure them in, so they'll go in and get the treats and then leave. So, but it's there anyway. These are, of course, my fruit trees. Look at this. This is, everything's leafing out beautifully. This is a nectarine. I love nectarines. I think I like eating nectarines fresh better than I like eating peaches fresh, because I don't really like that fuzzy skin on the peach. Although I love the taste of the flesh, But this is another nectarine tree. I got, I think, 2 nectarines last year. They were really good though. This might be an apple or a pear here. It hasn't flowered though, so I don't think that that one necessarily will give me any fruit. But I don't know. These trees in the back are behind the ones in the front because it's protected with this fence, so it stays colder back here. So they've leafed out, but not much has flowered yet. And I know that some of these will in fact flower because, like I said, that nectarine gave me stuff last year. Anyway, this is my this is a hedge of Limelight Prime hydrangeas. They are leafing out now. I had 8. I think I bought 8, started with 8 and 1 died, so I have 7. I have taken, I don't know if you recall, but in another video I had cut some of these pussy willow over here. I have a black pussy willow and then the plain regular one, but I had cut some branches and took them inside to force them. And then I took those same branches, brought them out here and stuck them in the ground to see if they would root. And guess what? All except one actually rooted. Let me see if you can see this. You see it's grown leaves? Like literally. I just stuck it down in the ground and put a little thing around it to keep the dogs away from it. Now that one is, I put it, it's a place where it doesn't get much sun and it's tree roots there, a lot of tree roots, so that wasn't a good spot. But I said, I had so many of them that I put in the ground that I said, you know, if that one doesn't survive, that's fine, because these things get big. I only need so many of them. Anyway, my lotus moon pearl bush here is looking beautiful. I thought this was gonna die off because it was beautiful. I got it in a pot from my local nursery. I put it in the ground and within 2 weeks it started looking like it was dying, and it looked sad all last season. Oh, the sun is now getting bright, but it is growing now and it produces these beautiful white flowers on it. I just love it as an ornamental shrub, if you can see that. But it kind of reminds me of a viburnum or something like that. I like it. This is a cherry tree. Ooh, it has a big old wasp or bee or something on it, which is weird because there's no flowers. But anyway, cherry tree is all leafed out. Hopefully it's going to flower. And here's just the plain pussy willow, which is tall. It's almost as tall as me. And this, I planted this last year, both of them last year. I got them from Home Depot, I believe. This is a cherry tree, and this is a tart cherry, so it's a pie cherry, this one. This here is a, I think, yellow twig dogwood, perhaps. Let's check the tag. Yep, that's right. This is a yellow twig dogwood that I got from Home Depot. I like Home Depot. I spend good amount of time in their garden center. But anyway, I planted this last year too, and look how big it is. I mean, these things were in little, like 1 gallon pots, 2 gallon pots. So they have really taken off. So I'm happy about that. This, I believe, is this another cherry? No, this is an apple. What is it called? Candy Crisp. I don't know, maybe similar to a Honey Crisp. I have a variety of apples and pears and peaches, and I'm not sure of all the varieties, but you need at least 2 different kinds of this of the same fruit for pollination purposes. This is a plum tree. Let's see what kind of plum it is. Alderman, it's called. It's never fruited, and actually it was looking sickly, and then I healed it up. I still need a weed whack, but I healed it up with some more dirt because it looked like it was like coming up from the root, out of the ground, the roots. And then it seems to have like that, and now it's doing pretty good. This is a hydrangea. It's just berry white. I'm not sure which one. Let's see. Nope, Strawberry Sundae. First edition Strawberry Sundae hydrangea. And this here is another plum tree. This one is called Bubblegum. It's nice and full, and those leaves are pretty. They're like the very newest leaves are like a reddish bronze color. Very pretty, and I'm proud of my pruning. Like it's the perfect goblet shape with the open center. That's how I try to prune a lot of my fruit trees. because that allows for good air circulation. And I only need so many fruit. I mean, it's just me. I'm not selling it. And these are dwarf trees. Now, I am worried about my figs. And here's another one of the pussy willows, and then there's another one down the way. But I am worried about my figs. This tree looks like there is no hope. That is a fig tree. I have 3. The other 2 don't look much better, if you ask me. So I don't know. This is my second round of fig trees that I've purchased and tried to grow, so I don't know. This is just a little shrub. I can't tell you what kind, but I like the color. I like this yellow green. Anytime I see it, I try to grab shrubs in that color, and I like to use it as filler once it gets big enough. Okay, over here I have alliums just growing along the side and a little in the back. I had so much Sweet William, I put some of it back there. Sweet William I plant twice a year because it's a biennial, meaning it doesn't flower till year 2. So I'll have one set that's gonna flower. Like these are gonna flower this year. You can tell because they have beginnings of the flowers. But like those back there, I just planted like in the fall or something. So they're not gonna flower until next spring. So that's the way I do it. I got a lot of sedum in here because, like I've said before, this area is the farthest away from my water source. So I like things here that are pretty drought tolerant since I'm not dragging the hose over here that often. So there's a lot of sedum here. There's a peony that I accidentally left because I had peonies here and on the other side, and then I dug them. I thought I had dug them all up and moved them to where they can get more sun. I figured out later that they like sun, and I left one, so I'm gonna leave it there since it's growing. See how it does. Tulips were here mixed in, and they're done. Tulips are finishing up. The window boxes, I put sedum in those because they're very narrow, very shallow, and sedum doesn't need a lot of moisture. So again, because they dry out so easily, I put sedum in all of them. And then there's a mini rose bush in there. Oh, let's see what's on this side. Roses. Tulips here are finishing up too. Perennials. These are perennial tulips. I would even put a few of the daffodils back here. This area I have a lot of lilies that are just starting, those pineapple looking things. And then I'm also planting my gladiolas, which are seasonal. They're just for the summer. So I've been planting those a few each week. This is a euphorbia, I believe, and I love this thing. I mean, look at it. Look at the color. It's like reddish leaves, and then it turns yellow at the top with these florets. And now that's only 2 years old. It was a bare root. All right, over here, excuse the dogs across the fence. They come out and started barking. Over here, I got another one of those euphorbias. I have 2 of those. And there's some mini roses. My fig trees, there's one on this side, one on the other side. There is new growth at the bottom. So there's hope. But as you can see, these stems are dead. I'll never get fruit at this rate if it's going to die back to the ground every year. This is a honeysuckle. It's a proven winner that doesn't get too crazy and out of control, but it produces the sweetest smelling yellow flowers, and it's getting all leafed out. I have one privet. That is another one that's like a chartreusey green that I love, and that is leafing out. That is a hydrangea. I'm not sure what variety. Yeah, so that honeysuckle is going to be great. There's also some columbine over there. Columbine is a perennial here. I didn't really realize that. I mean, it'd be a short-lived one, but that's an old one from last year, and it's flowering again. This is my tulip field, perennial tulips, and they're all gone, as you can see. I've cut them all now, because we are done with tulips. There's very few left, but I also have a bunch of alliums that are in this area too that will be coming up and blooming here over this summer. That columbine is about to flower. Try not to step on any of my lilies. That's gonna flower soon. Columbine is a short flower, so it's not necessarily that great for bouquets, but it's cute in a little bud vase. These onions want to These are accidental onions. They are wanting to flower here. I don't know if I want to let them flower. Those actually might be leeks. I'm looking at the end. That might be a leek, so I might want to pull those and use them because leeks are expensive. But look at that little daisy. That is so pretty. It's a tiny, tiny flower with this little yellow center. OMG. Very nice. Okay. Let me move this along. I don't have so much time. Okay, so you've seen this row of just little shrubs. I made it. I'm trying to create a barrier so the dogs stay out of my garden beds. Lots of garlic. I still have to weed this area. I haven't weeded it in about a month or so. The herbs are returning to perennial herbs. There's nothing here yet. My little patch of asparagus. I actually, I did harvest a few and I ate them and they were so good and crisp and fresh. But I have purple asparagus crowns and then I have the regular ones. The regular ones obviously grew faster and they're sending up tall stalks. I'm not going to pick any more. I'm going to leave them and then next year hopefully I can pick more. This is only the second year they've been in the ground. I had these in pots for 2 years. So I'm just trying to let them get established in the actual ground and hopefully next year I can get more. I actually even threw some little bitty starts of lavender. I took pieces and rooted them from the one big lavender I have on the other side. So I'm hoping those will take because lavender smells delicious. It's a great cut flower. Love it, love it, love it. And here I put all my brassicas in this bed is 2 by 8, I believe. All of my brassicas, cabbage, broccoli, all that kind of stuff is in here. So to keep it protected, because I do get a lot of cabbage moth. This is the yellow cherry tree, and I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping it's going to flower this year. It is flowering. Oh my God! First time ever. Look at that. Oh my God, I am so excited about the cherries because cherries are like the most expensive fruit at my grocery store anyway. When it's in season, you can't even get it. They don't even have them in any of the stores now, but you can't get them until like summer. But these are supposed to be yellow sweet cherries, and I'm excited about that. My sugar tip rose of Sharon, it's very tiny, but it is coming back. This row is mostly empty. There's a great couple of grapevines here, and it's not. They're budding up. I've had the grapes for a few years, so they seem to do okay, return reliably. But I have to prune so much because they grow so many leaves. This thing will be covered in leaves, and the problem with that is that it, reduces air circulation and can lead to like mildew and stuff. So I'm constantly cutting leaves off. This is all empty, so I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to put here. Maybe zinnias or something bushy that I can tie to this trellis. And then I put just some baby starts I had here. I can tell you what they are. It's a cut flower, maybe some black-eyed Susans, and some other things in there. I haven't really planted out my warm annuals yet. This is all stuff that either was fall planted cool annuals or that are perennials. And as you can see, it's getting pretty crowded. This is my cut flower patch. It's pretty crowded. All of this dill and cilantro reseeded itself, and I've pulled tons of it out, but I still have all this. There's a few bells of Ireland mixed in there. I love bells of Ireland, so I do have more seeds of that growing. I think those are little bachelor buttons that I've put out recently. Another columbine that's about to bloom. This one is tall. Look how tall this one is. This is at least 3 feet. I'm shocked because columbine, what I've grown before, has stayed pretty short, but maybe that's a different variety. More of the sweet William, so this patch here will not bloom until next year. So that's my whole staggering method. A lot of buplorum throughout because I love it, and so last year I let it go to seed and then I sprinkled it and the wind took it wherever. So I've picked it out of the walkways, but I've left it wherever it's come up. This is buplorum. It looks kind of like cabbage almost, but it's beautiful chartreuse filler flower. Lots of larkspur here. most of it I planted in the fall, and it overwintered. I got delphiniums in here too. Delphiniums returning from last year back there. I put all my ladies' mantle in the back here. That's a pretty filler too. It doesn't get super tall, but it produces a beautiful yellowish green flower. So I have like 3 of those, and then all of this is stuff from last year that's returned. And I even have are these mums? Asters, perennial asters. There's a few of those here that are growing back. They died back to the ground, but they're growing back now, so I'm very happy about that. There are some poppies that came up. I try to plant poppies because I do like the ones that get tall and huge, like the breadseed poppies and stuff. But I never have good luck with them. I do have a few poppies though here that are coming up, and I am excited. I know that that's a poppy, and that looks like larkspur in there. This might be a verbascum, I think it's called. It's huge. Thank goodness I only got one. But all of this is bucurrum, and all of that will definitely stay, because I can't have too much of that. These are snapdragons that I just recently put out here. I can tell you what that is. And I also, so this is snapdragons mixed in with hellebores, because I had I think 32 hellebore little starts that I ordered. I love hellebores, and so those are planted here, and I interplant with annual flowers. This whole section is hellebores. Back there I have some yarrow and bucurrum, and I'm not sure what that patch is, but some other things as well. I did plant nigella and some of that stuff over here, but I can't identify it until it gets bigger, or I'll come out with my plant app that identifies these things. These are my other annual flowers. As you can see, I have 4 flats that still need to be put into the ground. Yeah, I just set these out to harden off, so those will be planted up this weekend. I have to find spots for all of them. A lot of them will be able to go there. I will insert plant in between the hellebores, and yeah, I don't have a lot of room left back here. Some of them will be going in the front because I have dug up some new space up there. Okay, this is Flavorette Rose by Proven Winners. So all roses are edible, but this one is supposed to, in particular, have a fruity taste to the petals, kind of apricotish, and an apricot colored flower. So I just planted that in the fall. And then I have some annuals thrown in here in the middle, but these are primarily little raspberry, and there might be a couple of blueberry bushes thrown in, but they're miniature ones that are made for like pots, for patio planters or something. But I have them here in a row because I had a huge raspberry patch here. It was massive, but it had thorns. I am not into trying to pick little fruit and dealing with too many thorns. Luckily, the raspberries just kind of grew on the top because I didn't cut them all the way back the previous year, so they were just kind of on the tops of the stems, so that kind of made it easier to pick. I do have a lot of blueberries, which you can see. Most of the blueberries I put in these little cages to, 1, deter birds, and 2, because they're very fragile little things, and I've struggled with growing them. They seem to be taking off this year. I do amend the soil with sulfur or a soil acidifier to try to give them a little boost. Here I have sweet pea flowers in this one, going up this trellis, which I'll use for cut flowers. All of these little tree looking things are my peonies, and this is only year 2, so I won't be harvesting any, but a couple of them do have buds, so I'm excited about someday being able to harvest peonies. It'll be a glorious time. There are a few annuals sprinkled in here. There are herbs sprinkled in here. This is my little strawberry patch I got going. These are all from last year. What I do is I just let the runners go so far and then remove the rest, and I'm going to harvest those and Then I might dig them up. So a lot of times I'll dig up one of the runners as it roots and then put it in the bag, because those seem to die off over time in the bags. So I just kind of keep replenishing it. But there are a number of hellebores over here that I moved from the front back here, because I'm trying to turn this into a whole perennial bed. You know, so that it just comes back each year. And it's kind of shady with the fence, so I put hellebores here. I got the peonies here, which like a little sun, but they get enough. I think they'll be okay. And then all of these are different berries. I have gooseberries, I have currants, I have lingonberries on these bushes. So, and I've harvested off of those, and usually I just make jam with them, but I'm very excited that they're looking good. Another peony. And then I got various little shrubs, a couple of nandinas, just because I just love the way they look. They're on the cusp in this zone for hardiness, so I did put them back here so they could be protected. These are all carrots, which cover to keep the dogs from jumping in here and digging, but they're, as you can see, they're all tiny and coming up. I've had a hard time growing carrots for some reason. I can never get them to get very big. These are edible peas, so these are my sugar snap peas and snow pea pods things. This comfrey is a perennial. I leave it here. These leaves are very helpful. They have medicinal purposes, so I can use them to actually heal the bark of my trees. If the bark gets damaged, I wet these leaves and wrap them, and then I put this breathable tree wrap around all of that and leave it for like a whole season, a whole year. And man, it helps it to callus over, and that saves the tree. It's amazing. Plus, a lot of people will make fertilizer out of this. You kind of have to aerate it in water and let that go for a week or something, and then you can dilute that fertilizer and use it. I haven't done that. I just kind of use the leaves when I need to. So that is pretty much all that's going on in the back. So I'm trying to keep this as brief as possible. These are all waiting. These other containers, these are where I like to put my tomatoes and sometimes my peppers, but I don't think I'm putting peppers. I think I'm saving these just for tomatoes, because the black plastic retains heat, and tomatoes and peppers like it hot. hot. So they tend to grow really well in there. This is my purple clematis that I got for $3.50 at Walmart, and it flowered the first year. Last year I put it in. As you can see, it's growing vigorously, and it has buds on it already. So it's gonna flower soon. And then on the other side, I do have some starts to put there. I have some hyacinth bean and some other vine that's an annual that I wanted to grow there. So what else? I think that's it. I put my little solar lights, which looks beautiful at night. I finally got enough. I don't know how many lights I had to buy, 100. They're all the way around the entire fence line, and they all light up at night and give this downcast, like soft yellow light. It is actually beautiful at night. All right, that is going to be it for my backyard first tour of the season here, and I'll be back with a tour of the front, and I'll do that separately, like I said, because otherwise this video would go on forever and nobody wants that. But I still got a lot of weeding to do and just getting everything cleaned up and situated. Almost everything's planted, but yeah, weeding is my main task over the next couple of weeks. And then I do have to hook up my drip irrigation to all of this. Yeah, I gotta get that going too. All right, that's it. Bye bye.